Jonathan Parker stood tall as he looked out the wide window of the shuttle. Stars sparkled like tiny diamonds. The planet Zinner slowly came into view. It was the heart of the Galactic Council, a place where many powerful alien species gathered to rule the galaxy. Jonathan had been sent there to speak for Earth. His mission was important. He was calm, but inside his heart was heavy. He knew this meeting would not be easy. Mia Roberts, a young diplomat, sat behind him, looking nervous. She was new to these missions. Andrew Collins, their security officer, sat next to her. His sharp eyes kept watching every movement outside the window. He knew that danger could appear at any moment. The shuttle landed smoothly on the silver platform. The alien guards stood waiting. They were tall, thin creatures with long arms and pale gray skin. Their eyes were large and black without any emotion. The guards checked their documents and allowed them to enter. Inside the council hall, the air was cold and heavy. Dozens of alien leaders sat on high seats arranged in a wide circle. Each one belonged to a different species. Some were tall and thin, some had thick scales. Others had tentacles or wings. At the center was Varkin, leader of the Trivax species. His sharp teeth showed slightly as he smiled at Jonathan. But it was not a friendly smile. Jonathan stepped forward and bowed slightly, showing respect. He spoke in a calm voice. He thanked the Council for allowing him to speak. He explained Earth's hope to build better trade routes and avoid any future conflict. His words were clear, respectful, and full of reason, but Varkin interrupted him. His voice was deep and sharp. He accused Earth of breaking Council laws. He said that humans had interfered in a border dispute between two minor species. Jonathan was surprised. Earth had done no such thing. He calmly denied the accusation and offered proof. But Varkin waved his hand. Other council members joined in. Some shouted. Others nodded in agreement. They said Earth was growing too fast. They feared that humans would soon challenge the Council's power. Jonathan tried to reason with them. He reminded them that humans only wanted peace. But his words fell on deaf ears. Varkin slammed his hand on the table. The sound echoed through the hall. He declared that Earth was guilty of violating interstellar law. He accused Jonathan of being a criminal and said he must face punishment. Jonathan's eyes widened. Mia gasped. Andrew reached for his weapon, but Jonathan shook his head slightly. He did not want to start a fight before anyone could react. Council guards surrounded them. Varkin spoke again, his voice cold and firm. He announced that Jonathan was sentenced to death. The hall went silent. Then the guards moved quickly. They pulled Jonathan away from his team. Mia shouted in fear. Andrew tried to stop them, but there were too many guards. Jonathan remained calm, even as they dragged him toward the center platform. He looked back at Mia and Andrew and gave them a small nod. His face showed no fear. He was ready to face his fate with dignity. The Council's execution device stood ready. It was a simple platform with a tall metal pole. The machine was designed to end life in seconds. Varkin gave the final order. The device activated. A sharp beam of energy shot through Jonathan's chest. His body froze for a moment, then fell. To the ground, he was gone. Mia screamed. Andrew pulled her back. They were trapped. The guards pointed weapons at them. But then Andrew saw a chance. A small gap opened as the guards moved. He grabbed Mia's hand and ran. They pushed through the guards, knocking a few down. Alarms rang out. They ran through the long halls of the council building. Lights flashed red. Sirens screamed. Guards chased them, but Andrew knew the path. He had studied the building's design before arriving. They ran down a narrow hallway, through a service door, and into a maintenance tunnel. Breathing hard, Mia asked where they were going. Andrew said they had to reach the shuttle. It was their only hope. They ran through the tunnel and finally reached the hangar. The shuttle was still there, waiting. A few guards stood near it, but Andrew pulled out his blaster and fired. The guards fell. They jumped into the shuttle. Andrew started the engines as Mia sent a priority message to Earth. She told them everything. She sent the recording of Jonathan's execution and the Council's false charges. The message flew across space at light speed. The shuttle lifted off just as more guards entered the hangar. Blaster shots flew around them, but they escaped into space. The Council ships followed, but Earth had equipped their shuttle with the latest speed drives. Within moments, they entered slipspace and disappeared. Back on Zinner, Varkin stood in his chamber, watching the sky. He smiled to himself. He believed that Earth would be too afraid to respond. The Council had shown who held true power. The other members agreed. They thought that humans were too weak to fight back, but they were wrong. Far across space. On Earth, President Lavra Mitchell sat in the secure war room. The message from Mia arrived. She watched the video of Jonathan's death. Her face grew pale with anger. She did not speak for a long moment. The room was silent. Finally, she looked at Admiral Scott Turner and General Eric Dawson. Her voice was cold but firm. She said that this was not just a crime. It was an attack on humanity itself. The Council had crossed a line. She ordered full readiness of Earth's secret fleet. For years, Earth had hidden its true power. They had built advanced warships in secret shipyards. Now those ships would move. The Council thought they had broken Earth's spirit, but they had only awakened its full strength. The President gave the final order. Earth's response was clear. There would be no more talks, no more peace, only justice. The war room on Earth was filled with tension. President Lavra Mitchell stood at the head of the table. Around her sat the top military leaders, scientists, and intelligence officers. The video of Jonathan Parker's execution played again on the large screen. Every person in the room watched in silence. The anger inside them grew with every passing second. Admiral Scott Turner broke the silence. His voice was cold. He said the Galactic Council believed Earth was weak. They had no idea about Earth's real strength. For years, Earth had developed advanced weapons and fleets in secret. These projects were hidden deep in space, far from the Council's eyes. General Eric Dawson nodded. He said Earth could not let this attack go unpunished. The Council had shown complete disrespect. If Earth did nothing, other species would see. Humans as weak and easy to attack, the President agreed. She stood firm. This was no longer about trade or politics. It was about survival and respect. The Council would pay for what they had done. She gave the final order to activate Project Leviathan. Deep in space, far from Earth, hidden bases came alive. Massive ships powered up. These warships were unlike anything the Council had ever seen. They carried powerful plasma cannons, railguns, and planet-cracking missiles. Their armor could resist most known weapons. The fleet was ready to strike. The fleet's commander was Admiral Turner himself. He would lead the attack. His second-in-command, Captain Amanda Ross, stood by his side. Amanda was young but sharp. She had trained for this moment for years. The crew members moved quickly. Engines powered up. Weapon systems checked and rechecked. The fleet consisted of over 300 ships. Each one was a floating city, armed. To destroy anything in its path, Admiral Turner gave the signal. The ships entered quantum slipstream, moving faster than light toward Zinner. Their goal was simple: destroy the Council's leadership and remove the threat forever. Back on Zinner, the Council remained calm. They believed Earth would send a small protest or ask for peace talks. Varkin laughed as his advisors reported no sign of Earth's fleet. He called humans weak and soft. He believed they would never dare strike the Council. Varkin held a meeting with other Council leaders. They sat around a large table inside a tall silver tower. They spoke about dividing Earth's trade routes among themselves. They believed Earth would soon beg for forgiveness. Suddenly, an alarm rang out across the building. Council guards rushed in, shouting that unknown ships had entered Zinner's orbit. The leaders looked at each other in confusion. Varkin ordered the defense systems to be activated. He still thought it was a small force. The sky above Zinner changed quickly. Hundreds of human warships appeared. Their dark hulls reflected the light of Zinner's twin suns. They looked like giant shadows ready to strike. The people of Zinner stared up in fear. They had never seen anything like it. Admiral Turner opened a communication channel to the Council. His face appeared on large screens across the Council chambers. His voice was calm but firm. He said Earth offered one last chance. Surrender the ones responsible for Jonathan Parker's death or face complete destruction? Varkin stood up and laughed. He said humans were bluffing. He ordered the human fleet to leave at once or face the Council's might. Admiral Turner ended the call without another word. His eyes were cold. He gave the order to begin the attack. The first wave of strikes hit the defense platforms in seconds. Plasma beams cut through metal like paper. The Council's space stations exploded in bright flashes. Their ships tried to rise into the sky, but Earth's railguns tore them apart before they could fight back. The people of Zinner screamed as debris rained down from the sky. Fires spread through the city. Buildings crumbled under the shockwaves. The Council's proud capital was turning into rubble. Varkin watched in shock as his world fell apart. He shouted at his generals to fight back, but their weapons were useless. The Council's fleet was no match for Earth's advanced technology. Human dropships began landing near the Council towers. Armored vehicles rolled out, followed by squads of soldiers. Commander Patrick Ross led the ground forces. His team moved quickly, taking control of key points in the city. The Council guards tried to resist, but they were outnumbered and outgunned. Human soldiers used smart weapons that could track enemies even behind cover. The battle on the ground was quick and brutal. Inside the Council tower, Varkin tried to escape. He moved through secret tunnels, hoping to reach a hidden ship, but human soldiers had already blocked every exit. Commander Ross's team cornered Varkin in the underground hangar. Varkin raised his hands. His proud face now showed fear. He begged for mercy, but Commander Ross showed none. He said Varkin would answer for his crimes. Varkin was taken alive and brought to the main square of the ruined capital. The people of Zinner watched as their leader was placed on trial. Earth broadcasted the trial across the galaxy. Varkun was charged with crimes against humanity. The evidence was clear. The video of Jonathan Parker's execution played again. Varkin was found guilty. The sentence was carried out at once. Varkin was executed the same way he had killed Jonathan Parker. His body fell to the ground. The message was clear. Earth's justice had been served. Back in orbit, Admiral Turner watched the scene from his flagship. Captain Amanda Ross stood beside him. She said the mission was a success. The Council's leadership was gone. Admiral Turner nodded. He said this was only the beginning. Other Council worlds would now have to decide. Submit to Earth or face the same fate? Captain Ross smiled slightly. She said the galaxy would never see humans as weak again. Admiral Turner agreed. He ordered the fleet to stay in orbit. They would secure Zinner fully before moving on to the next targets. Far away, President Mitchell received the reports. She was calm but firm. She told her team that Earth's place in the galaxy had changed forever. The Council had made a grave mistake. They thought humans would bow down. Instead, they had awakened Earth's full strength. The message to the galaxy was now clear. No one would ever harm a human again without facing the full power of Earth. The smoke still rose from the ruins of Zinner. Fires burned across the city. Human soldiers walked through the streets, clearing the last pockets of resistance. The once proud capital of the Galactic Council now lay broken under Earth's control. Commander Patrick Ross stood at the top of the Council tower. He looked out over the destroyed city. His soldiers moved like shadows below, searching for hidden Council members. Drones scanned every building. Earth wanted to leave no one behind who could rebuild the Council's power. Nearby, Mia Roberts and Andrew Collins arrived with a special team. Their mission was different. They were not there to fight. They were looking for the humans who had been taken by the Council before the attack. Many of Earth's diplomats, traders, and explorers had been captured over the years. Now was the time to free them. Mia felt a deep sadness as she walked through the halls of the Council prison. The cells were dark and cold. She could hear voices calling for help. Some prisoners were weak and sick. They had been treated badly for a long time. Andrew led the way. He carefully checked every corner for traps. The Council guards had left in a hurry, but they might have set up last defenses. After hours of searching, they found a large holding area. Inside were dozens of prisoners, humans, and even some aliens who had been punished for helping Earth. Mia spoke gently to them, telling them they were safe now. Some of the prisoners cried with relief. Others looked at her with disbelief, unable to believe they were finally free. Medics moved in quickly to care for the sick and wounded. As the freed prisoners were taken to safety, Mia sent a full report to Earth. President Lavra Mitchell read the message with care. She ordered full medical care for all survivors and sent special ships to bring them home. The president knew that freeing the prisoners was not only a victory for Earth, but also a sign to the galaxy that humans never forgot their people. While the rescue teams worked, Admiral Turner gathered his fleet commanders. They met on the bridge of his flagship, the Valor. The mood was serious. The Council's capital was taken, but the war was not over. Admiral Turner knew that the Council's control had spread across many worlds. Some planets were watching silently. Others were thinking about fighting back. He needed to act quickly before small fires of resistance grew into bigger problems. Captain Amanda Ross spoke first. She suggested targeting the Council's key supply routes next. Without food, fuel, and weapons, the remaining Council members would not be able to rebuild. Admiral Turner agreed. The fleet would divide into smaller groups and strike the Council's supply lines across the galaxy. Human warships began moving like hunters across space. They attacked Council convoys without mercy. Every ship that tried to escape was destroyed. Space stations that once served as safe stops for the Council now burned. The message was clear. No one would help the Council without facing Earth's wrath. Many neutral species watched the events in fear. They had once supported the Council or stayed silent while humans were insulted. Now they rushed to contact Earth, hoping to make peace. They sent messages offering trade, technology, and even military support. They wanted to avoid becoming the next target. President Mitchell accepted some of the offers. She allowed peaceful talks but made it clear that any attempt to hide Council leaders or support rebels would be seen as a hostile act. The galaxy slowly shifted. The Council's allies became Earth's allies. Those who had once laughed at humans now bowed in respect. In the shadows of space, however, a few loyalists still resisted. Small groups of Council leaders escaped capture. They hid on distant planets, gathering what little support they could. They called themselves the True Council and planned to strike back. Their numbers were small, but their hatred for humans was strong. One of the most dangerous leaders was Zarlin, a former high-ranking Council general. He was cruel and smart. He believed that if he could strike Earth directly, he could turn the galaxy against them. He began gathering ships and weapons. In secret, preparing for a surprise attack. Earth's intelligence network was already hunting him. Satellites, spies, and informants fed information back to Admiral Turner. He knew that leaving Zarlin free was dangerous. Plans were made to track him down and end his threat before he could act, while the fleet hunted the rebels. Work on Zinner continued. Human engineers began rebuilding parts of the city to serve as Earth's new center of power in the galaxy. The Council chambers were turned into the headquarters of the new Galactic Assembly, where Earth would lead. Mia Roberts was appointed as Earth's top ambassador. She would speak for Earth and build new relationships with the many species that now looked to humans for leadership. Her job was not easy. Many of these species were still afraid. Unsure if they could trust Earth's strength, Mia met with leaders from dozens of worlds. She spoke clearly and firmly. She explained that Earth wanted peace, but peace would only exist if all members respected each other. She reminded them of what happened to the Council. No one wanted to suffer the same fate. Her words worked. Slowly, species that once feared or hated humans began to work together. Trade routes reopened. Scientific knowledge was shared. Earth's culture began to spread to planets that had never seen a human before, but not everyone accepted the new order. On one world, in a dark meeting room, Zarlin spoke to his followers. He promised them revenge. He said Earth had grown too proud. He claimed that humans were not unbeatable. His voice was full of anger. His eyes burned with hatred. He told them that soon they would strike at Earth's heart. A secret weapon was being prepared, something powerful enough to shake Earth's rule. His followers cheered. They believed in his words. Back on Earth, President Mitchell received reports about Zarlin's growing threat. She called Admiral Turner and General Dawson into her office. She said they had won the first war, but a new danger was rising. She ordered them to be ready for anything. Admiral Turner promised that they would not allow the rebels to succeed. Earth's fleets would hunt them down, no matter where they hid. General Dawson prepared new defense plans in case the rebels reached Earth itself. The war was not over yet. The first battle had been won, but the fight for lasting peace had only just begun. Earth was ready to face whatever came next. The days passed as Earth's new rule spread across the galaxy. The Galactic Council was gone, but its shadow still remained in distant places. The Loyalists, led by Zarlin, moved from one hidden base to another. They were small in number, but dangerous. Their hate for humans grew stronger with every loss. Admiral Turner sat in his command room aboard the Valor, studying new reports. Earth's spy network had finally found Zarlin's location. He was hiding on a small planet named Dravos, deep in uncharted space. The planet was harsh and rocky. A perfect place for hiding. Admiral Turner called Captain Amanda Ross and Commander Patrick Ross to his side. The three officers spoke quietly. The plan was clear. They could not allow Zarlin to grow stronger. If he gathered more support, the rebel force could rise again. The mission was dangerous. Zarlin had placed many traps on Dravos, the planet's surface was filled with hidden guns and mines. The atmosphere was thick with storms. But none of that would stop the human forces. They had come too far to back down now. The fleet moved fast. A group of 20 warships entered Slipstream and arrived near Dravos. Human scouts scanned the planet from orbit. They found several underground bases hidden beneath the rocks. Zarlin was there. Admiral Turner gave the order to begin the assault. Plasma beams struck the ground, breaking open the surface. Heavy dropships carried armored vehicles and soldiers toward the battle zone. Commander Patrick Ross led the ground team. His voice was calm as he spoke to his soldiers. He reminded them why they were there. The mission was clear. Find Zarlin and end the threat. The soldiers moved across the rocky fields. Dust and smoke filled the air. Drones flew above, scanning for enemy fighters. Hidden turrets opened fire. From the cliffs, Earth's forces responded with quick strikes. Rockets hit the turrets, destroying them one by one. Inside his underground base, Zarlin watched the attack unfold. His face was cold. He had expected Earth to find him, but not this quickly. Still, he was ready. His loyal soldiers were prepared to fight to the death. Zarlin activated his last weapon. Deep under the base was a powerful energy core. If Earth's soldiers reached it, he planned to overload it. The explosion would destroy the entire area, including himself and the humans. He believed that his death would inspire others to rise against Earth. Commander Ross's team pushed deeper into the tunnels. They moved carefully, knowing that traps could appear at any moment. Explosions shook the walls as the battle raged above and below. The air was thick with smoke and the lights flickered. Suddenly they faced heavy resistance. Zarlin's guards opened fire with plasma rifles. The humans returned fire, using their advanced targeting systems to strike fast and hard. The enemy fell back, but they fought with desperation. Mia Roberts, who had joined the mission as an advisor, stayed behind the main team. She used her knowledge to guide them through the complex maze of tunnels. She warned them of traps ahead, helping to avoid deadly mistakes. As they moved closer to Zarlin's chamber, Commander Ross received a message from Admiral Turner. The Admiral warned that energy levels were rising. Zarlin was preparing to detonate. The Corps Commander Ross increased their pace. There was no time to lose. They had to stop Zarlin before he could destroy everything. They reached the final door. Behind it was the control room where Zarlin waited. The soldiers placed charges and blew the door open. Smoke filled the room as they entered. Zarlin stood at the center of the chamber. His hand hovered over the control panel. The core behind him glowed bright, ready to explode. He smiled when he saw the humans. His voice was calm but full of hate. He called them invaders and said they would never rule the galaxy forever. He said his death would be remembered, and others would rise. Commander Ross raised his weapon. He told Zarlin to step away from the panel, but Zarlin refused. He reached for the button. A sharp shot rang out. One of the soldiers fired first, striking Zarlin's arm. He cried out in pain, falling to the ground. The soldiers rushed forward and pulled him away from the panel before he could press it. The danger was not over. The energy core was still unstable. Mia quickly moved to the controls. She worked with the team's engineers to shut down the core. Warnings flashed on the screens. The countdown had already started. Mia's hands moved fast across the controls. Sweat dripped from her forehead as she worked. The engineers followed her orders, disabling safety locks and cooling the core. The clock ticked down to the final seconds, then the countdown stopped. The core powered down. The chamber fell silent. Commander Ross let out a long breath. They had stopped the explosion with only seconds to spare. Zarlin sat on the floor, defeated. His plan had failed. The team secured Zarlin and led him out of the base. The battle on the surface was ending. Human forces had crushed the last pockets of resistance. The war on Dravos was over. Admiral Turner received the report with relief. He praised the team for their success. With Zarlin captured, the last major leader of the Council's loyalists was now in human hands. Back on Earth, President Mitchell held a special meeting. She spoke to the people of Earth and the many new allies watching across the galaxy. She explained how Earth had defeated the last rebel threat. She promised peace but warned that Earth would never allow its people to be harmed again. Zarlin was placed on trial. The evidence against him was clear. He was found guilty of war crimes and planning mass murder. His sentence was carried out swiftly. The message was once again clear to all who might rise against Earth. The galaxy watched with new respect. Many leaders who once feared Earth now saw humans as fair but strong. The power of the old Galactic Council was gone. In its place, Earth now stood as the leader of a new order. Mia Roberts continued her work, building stronger ties with new allies. Trade grew, science advanced. Planets that had once been closed now opened to human explorers and settlers. Admiral Turner kept the fleet ready. He knew that peace could never be taken for granted. Earth's fleets patrolled the stars, watching for any new threats. But for the first time, true peace seemed possible. The galaxy had changed, and it was the strength and courage of humans that made it happen. The galaxy slowly settled under Earth's rule. Many planets once ruled by the Galactic Council now worked together under the new Galactic Assembly led by humans. Trade routes reopened and peace spread across many systems, but peace was never simple. Small groups still tried to resist. Some former council members still hated humans and secretly planned their return to power. Admiral Turner sat on the bridge of the Valor, watching reports from different sectors. His fleet had grown stronger and larger. Earth now controlled hundreds of warships. New ships were being built every day. Human engineers had used technology from the defeated Council to make even more powerful weapons. Captain Amanda Ross entered the room with new intelligence. She handed a report to Admiral Turner. He read it carefully. A group of Council loyalists was gathering on the distant world of Varos. They were not many, but their leaders were dangerous. Among them was an old scientist named Dr. Selvig. He was once one of the Council's top weapon engineers. Admiral Turner knew the name. Dr. Selvig had worked on secret Council weapons before the Council's fall. If he now worked with the rebels, it meant trouble. Captain Ross explained that Dr. Selvig had started building a new type of weapon. If completed, it could be strong enough to destroy entire fleets. Admiral Turner called for a special meeting with President Lavra Mitchell. The communication screen lit up with the president's face. She listened to the report with great care. She understood the danger at once. The rebels could not be allowed to finish the weapon. She ordered the admiral to move quickly. The mission was set. A strike team would travel to Varos and stop the weapon before it became fully active. Admiral Turner placed Commander Patrick Ross in charge of the mission. Mia Roberts would also join, as the mission involved both military and diplomatic risks. The Strike Force traveled through Slipstream, reaching Varos in only a few hours. The planet was covered with thick forests and tall mountains. The rebels had hidden their base deep inside a mountain range, where scanners had trouble reaching. Commander Ross led his team down to the surface. Dropships landed silently in the dark night. Soldiers moved carefully through the forests. Drones flew above, searching for patrols and hidden traps. Inside the mountain, Dr. Selvig worked hard. His lab was filled with machines, wires, and glowing energy cores. His weapon was almost complete. It was a giant energy cannon, unlike anything seen before. He called it the Star Lance. Once ready, it could fire across space and destroy ships. From great distances, Dr. Selvig's assistants warned him that human forces were approaching. He ordered them to keep working. He believed he could finish the weapon before the humans reached him. The Loyalist guards prepared to defend the base. Commander Ross's team reached the outer edge of the base by morning. Using data from the drones, they found a secret tunnel leading inside. It was a tight path, but it allowed them to avoid most of the guards. The team moved through the tunnel carefully. The walls were rough and the air was damp. Small lights guided their way. After several hours, they reached a large chamber inside the mountain. In front of them stood the massive weapon. Still under construction. Guards spotted them and opened fire. The humans returned fire quickly. Plasma bolts filled the air. The battle inside the chamber was fierce. The rebels fought with desperation. Knowing that failure meant death. Mia stayed behind the main group, using her tablet to hack into the base's systems. She shut down security doors, blocked communications, and helped the soldiers move forward. Her work was fast and precise. Dr. Selvig watched the battle from a control room above the chamber. He saw his guards fall one by one, his face twisted in anger. He activated the weapons core, trying to start the firing process. Even if the weapon was not fully ready, Commander Ross noticed the power levels rising. He ordered part of his team to reach the control room. They moved up a narrow stairway, fighting more guards along the way. Reaching the control room, the soldiers burst through the door. Dr. Selvig stood at the control panel. He shouted that they were too late. His hand reached for the final switch. A single shot rang out. One of the soldiers hit Selvig's hand, knocking him back. The energy surge stopped. The weapon remained inactive. Selvig fell to the floor, wounded but alive. The team secured him and locked down the controls. The remaining guards surrendered. The weapon was taken under human control. The danger was over. Admiral Turner received the success report with great relief. President Mitchell also received the news quickly. She praised the team for stopping what could have been a terrible disaster. Dr. Selvig was brought back to Earth to face trial. The court found him guilty of planning mass destruction and rebellion. His sentence was carried out swiftly. Another threat to peace was removed. The Starlance was taken apart by human engineers. Its parts were studied carefully. Some technology was added to Earth's own systems. While the dangerous parts were destroyed, the defeat on Varos broke the spirit of many remaining rebels. Without leaders and weapons, their power faded. Many of their followers surrendered. Some even asked for mercy and were given a chance to live under Earth rule if they accepted peace. Mia Roberts continued to work with new planets joining the Galactic Assembly. Many species had once feared humans but now saw their strength as protection. Against new dangers, trade grew stronger. Science advanced faster than ever before. Earth's leadership was respected across thousands of worlds. Admiral Turner expanded Earth's fleets even more. Patrol ships were placed near former council sectors to prevent new uprisings. The galaxy was finally becoming stable under human control, but both Admiral Turner and President Mitchell knew that peace was always fragile. New dangers could appear. Unknown threats could rise from deep space. For now, though, Earth had won every battle. Its place as the leader of the galaxy was strong. The message was clear to all who watched from near and far. Earth did not seek war, but it would crush any enemy who tried to harm its people again. Months passed as Earth's control over the galaxy became stronger. The Galactic Assembly was now fully under human leadership. The planets that once belonged to the Council followed Earth's laws. Trade moved smoothly, and many species worked together for the first time in history. The wounds of war were healing. Yet, in the shadows of peace, new dangers began to rise. Admiral Turner sat at the command center aboard the Valor. His eyes moved across multiple screens, showing reports from different sectors. Captain Amanda Ross stood beside him, holding the LATST intelligence file. She handed it to the Admiral, her voice calm but serious. A strange signal had been detected far beyond known space. It was not from any known species. The signal repeated itself in patterns. Scientists believed it might be a message. Some feared it was a warning. Admiral Turner called for a private meeting with President Lavera Mitchell. The communication link opened, and the President listened carefully to the report. The unknown signal worried her. No one knew what was hiding in that part of space. She gave the order to investigate, but warned the team to stay ready for danger. A special exploration fleet was prepared. The fleet included science vessels, warships, and scout drones. Admiral Turner placed Captain Amanda Ross in charge of the mission. Mia Roberts joined as well to handle any diplomatic contact if needed. Commander Patrick Ross led the ground forces. Ready for any threat, the fleet moved into slipstream and traveled to the far edge of the galaxy. As they approached the source of the signal, strange things began to happen. The ship's systems picked up strange energy waves. Communication signals grew weaker. The stars looked different, darker, and colder. They finally reached a large empty region filled with strange floating objects. Some looked like ruins of ships. Others were massive structures, broken and drifting in space. No one recognized the technology. The fleet stopped at a safe distance, scanning everything. Suddenly a giant structure lit up. It was a huge space station, larger than any known ship. A deep, metallic voice echoed through their systems. The language was unknown but was quickly translated by the AI systems. The message spoke of an ancient race known as the Architects. They had ruled the galaxy long before any current species. They had left these stations behind as warnings. The message claimed that if anyone disturbed these ruins, the Architects would return. Captain Ross sent small drones to scan the structure. The scans showed that the station was still active, running on old but powerful energy sources. Mia Roberts advised caution. She suggested they leave the area and report back to Earth before they could retreat. Several unknown ships appeared out of the darkness. They were sleek, black, and unlike anything seen before. The ships moved fast, surrounding the fleet. The unknown race had returned. The new arrivals sent a direct message. They called themselves the Keepers. Their voice was cold and commanding. They accused the humans of breaking ancient laws by entering forbidden space. The Keepers declared that Earth would be punished if they did not leave at once. Admiral Turner, watching from Earth, gave new orders to Captain Ross. She was to hold her ground, but avoid starting a battle unless attacked. Captain Ross opened communication with the Keepers, trying to explain that Earth had no knowledge of these ancient laws and only came to explore. The Keepers did not listen. They believed humans were growing too strong. They saw Earth as a rising threat. Without warning, the Keepers opened fire. The first shot struck the Lead science vessel, destroying it instantly. The battle had begun. Human warships responded at once. Plasma beams and railguns fired across space. The Keepers' ships were fast and hard to hit. Their weapons were powerful, cutting through shields quickly. Commander Patrick Ross led the defense, guiding the fleet's formations. The human ships stayed close, protecting the weaker science vessels. Fighters launched from carriers, engaging the enemy at close range. Mia worked with the fleet's AI to find weak points in the enemy ships. Slowly, they learned how to break the Keepers' defenses. Human railguns focused on the engines, disabling several enemy ships. The battle raged for hours. Both sides suffered losses. The Keepers sent waves of reinforcements from hidden bases. Nearby, the humans fought bravely, holding their ground despite the heavy attack. Captain Ross ordered a bold move. She led a strike team into one of the disabled Keeper ships. The team boarded the enemy vessel, fighting room to room. Inside, they found the ship's command center. The keepers were not like other aliens. Their bodies were thin, covered in metal armor. Their faces were hidden behind masks. The boarding team fought hard, capturing the command center. They recovered data that revealed the location of the main keeper base hidden deep inside a nearby gas giant. Admiral Turner made a quick decision. They could not allow the keepers to remain a threat. He ordered the fleet to prepare for a full assault on the base. The human fleet regrouped and moved toward the gas giant. The base was hidden inside thick clouds. The keepers launched a final defense, but their numbers were running thin. Human ships pushed through, using powerful shield systems to withstand the attacks. Finally, the fleet reached the main station. A massive battle took place. The keepers fought with desperation, but Earth's superior tactics and weapons slowly broke their lines. One by one, the keeper ships were destroyed. The human fleet surrounded the station. Captain Ross led the final strike, launching precision attacks at the station's core. Explosions shook the giant structure as fires spread through it. The station's energy core overloaded. In a final flash of light, the station exploded, sending debris across the gas giant's atmosphere. The last of the keepers had fallen. The battle was won, but the discovery of the architects and the keepers raised new questions. The galaxy was far older and more dangerous than anyone had known. Admiral Turner and President Mitchell agreed that Earth would continue to explore, but with great care. The galaxy still held many secrets. Some allies might be waiting. Others might be far worse than the Council or the Keepers. For now, though, Earth stood stronger than ever. The fleets returned home, bringing back the story of another great victory. The galaxy knew once again that no enemy could break the strength and will of humanity.